It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're doing a reaction discussion video from ScottJund titled, I've been on a killer break, Dead by Daylight. Now, right off the bat, it seems like it's a doozy getting into this automatically, because I feel like a lot of killer players are either not playing the game anymore, are quitting the game entirely, or are just sticking to Survivor. Like, there has been a massive shift, I think, across the board. And hearing the sort of like resident, I guess technically most Survivor favored killer main we've ever heard, essentially basically say I'm done playing killer is actually insane. So let's go ahead and dive in. Original videos linked in the description.
Just go play something else if you're having a rough time or you're bored. It's actually pretty good advice, because genuinely whenever you take a break from something, it is a lot better when you come back to it. That's the first main reason, just simple burnout. I've been playing it way too much. The other reason is the pallet density. I feel like it has really kind of pigeonholed me into playing only certain killers unless I want to start losing a lot, which, you know, obviously I don't like losing. So
right off the bat, as we can hear from Scott, the pallet density changes, which I think a vast majority of the casuals who are playing on killer would agree, like, this is not a good change. And even the veterans like myself that just have been playing killer for a very long time, I would also like wouldn't blame anybody for not playing. It is very terrible. And even being stated by Scott himself, he doesn't like to lose games, which explains the killer choices. Like, we've seen a lot of Vecna, a lot of Wraith, a lot of Nemesis, like characters that are not overly S tier, but also are not completely dog doo-doo. Which, if you're playing a dog doo-doo killer like I do, you're going to, on average, lose more games than you're going to win them. However, that does boil down to, as I've stated many times, it is boiling down to a skill issue, because I still have a very high win rate, very low loss rate, stuff like that, according to my spreadsheet that I was actually putting together, collecting data for as of late. So that is, you know, by and large, for the vast majority, I would say, of course, you're going to lose a lot of games. But if you obviously main a low tier, then that's a little bit of a different story. That kind of boils down to your level of knowledge. With that being said, let's continue.
I feel like I have to play either a top tier killer or a killer that's got like some type of built-in pallet destruction or avoidance, kind of like Nemesis.
Thank you, Scott, for saying that, because this is a point that I was making previously in different videos. I've been saying a lot of people that play casually, which Scott, I would imagine, plays pretty casually. Like, I would say that Scott isn't like focused on trying to win every single game in order to, say, like reach like a top level with, you know, with their main or anything like that. So I would use Scott as an example of like somebody who plays casually and realizes that I don't want to lose my matches for no reason, and if I do want to play a killer that can combat this nonsense, my killer selection is very limited. And this is the point that I've been trying to make for like a couple of videos now, and I'm glad that Scott as well is offering a perspective that, as we're hearing, basically proves my point. Like, somebody who's playing the way that I've described is saying themselves, I don't really think I have a lot of choices when it comes to killers. Either I'm bringing a top tier or I'm bringing somebody who can handle the pallets. So it's like your choices kind of really are cut in half.
This feels perfectly fine in pallet density change. It's completely okay. But there's a lot of other killers that just, you know, I've been trying to test, you know, the new Myers and stuff like that. Basically, half the killers in the game feel like torture right now. It's just so tough. And it really is due to the pallet density changes. I don't really think this is something that's just in my head, too. I think this is a verifiable, like, this is a fact that, like, I am performing worse on killer. My kill rates have gone down. On the stats website, I am actually straight up winning less compared to the baseline values of everything. And on the survivor side, I definitely feel like that I'm having a much easier time overall.
And you heard it there from Scott himself, which is, Scott is famously a person that uses like plenty of spreadsheets, will spend hours and hours and hours dedicated to get data to prove his points, and I have to give respect where it's due in that sense. As much as I can disagree with Scott on a lot of things, I will say that much: I do respect the fact that there is a lot of data collection and a lot of effort that goes into proving that point. And that's great. And I'm glad that from somebody who is trying to track their own stats, and as somebody like myself who's tracking their stats, I can respect that. And I can also acknowledge, like, we just have now concrete evidence that the kill rates are dropping, probably across the board, I would imagine, because like I've said, not every single person who's playing killer either prefers to have that much of a challenge, or at least would prefer to play it very casually, and they are already going to have lower kill rates on average, I would imagine. Now it's been proven with some data, at least one person that we know plays casually is now having a lower kill rate. So I can imagine other people that are also very casual are probably having lower kill rates. Not great, I would imagine. And of course it's less fun, right? And then of course Survivor gets easier and easier and easier, and it's really hilarious to me because I've been calling this out for a very long time, and all you would hear from these survivors in the comment section, right? Oh, you're just crying. Oh, you're just complaining, like, you know, all this types of stuff. We offered evidence upon evidence, like, over and over and over. We have concrete evidence proving the game is Survivor favored. Maybe not sided, but favored by the patches, the update, how the meta has been unfolding, how the meta stays exactly consistent across the board. A good example actually was from, I think it was Mish, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they dropped an hour-long video covering Survivor meta and had stated directly in the description and also probably in the video, the meta has not shifted for Survivor at all. Like, it has been pretty much stagnant since forever. And I mean, why wouldn't it, right? Like, every single patch we're seeing just only buffs that meta. Like, we have ghost notes directly buffing exhaustion, with vigil or having a 66% recovery from every status effect. That's 76% recovery from exhaustion perks, from just using your own perk in the first place, like from a killer using Fearmonger, or a killer like using an add-on for exhaustion, or having a perk that applies it. 76% decreased. Like, what the heck are we talking about? The dramaturgy finesse meta still active, the healing meta still active, the gen rushing still active. Like, all these things are still there. Like, so it's getting to a boiling point where everybody's like on killer is probably like, I'm done. Like, this is just not fun, and I don't blame them. So there we go, right? And of course we had the Myers buff finally, which was necessary because that killer was completely god awful. Like, I don't know why that rework came out so terribly. It was horrible on both mouse and keyboard and on the controllers as well, and I'm glad they finally changed it. Knowing how the game is going to go, they're probably going to nerf it again because they can't let a killer be fun or enjoyable for anybody, apparently. But let's continue.
And it's not like I mysteriously just got better at Survivor out of nowhere. I'm like, oh man, I feel like I'm running these killers for a lot longer. I'm doing a lot better now. It's like, oh man, I really just must have watched a comp game and now I just downloaded all the correct ways to put. No, it's just the game got easier for me.
Thank you, Scott, for bringing that up. Thank you, Scott. I gotta say thank you, because that's exactly what's happening. And I pointed this out in a previous video. Previous videos in the past, I keep saying this, like, Survivor is just easier and easier and easier. Like, they keep on holding their hands. They can't, like, they already can make multiple mistakes and not lose the game. Like, they already have perks that give them second chances. I mean, you already have Dead Hard that exists, the decisive that exists. Off the record got embursed with its endurance, because I don't know why, but they did. And it's just mind-blowing because there's perks like Off the Record that by the little name Off the Record, that means you should not be seen, and instead they give you endurance anyway. And it's like, it was fine before. Like, we don't need second chance perks being used aggressively. That directly contradicts what it's for. Like, that makes no sense, but it just flies. Like, they just let it happen. And Scott right here, thank you, Scott, for pointing out, like, Survivor just objectively got easier, as if, like, which we all saw this coming. Like, we all saw this happening, I had a match literally like last night where there was like 10 fillers all connected on one of these like farm maps. I must have like broken every single one. I tried playing them, but the walls were so long. I was playing Myers too. I didn't have my evil incarnate ready, so I was just basically M1ing, having to try to figure out like, can I play this pallet? You can't. Like, bloodlust is not enough. Like, some of those walls are so long, like by the time you get over there, like you're not gonna reach in time. So then you have to break it, but then the new pallet pops up, and then you were like, okay, can I play this? No, gotta break this too. And then they just keep chaining that. It's like, what are you supposed to do?
As much as I would love to delude myself into thinking that I just suddenly became extremely good at the game on this.
Which, shout out to Scott for the self-awareness, because there are a lot of players that would sit there and delude themselves, and they continue to delude themselves even nowadays, that they truly believe in their minds they're doing something crazy because they sat around and ran to a brand new pallet every 2 seconds and pre-dropped it, and then in their minds they truly believed that they're amazing at the game. It may not be many, but there are definitely people out there that truly believe that.
Survivor side at the very least. It's because the maps have just become easier. That really is the main actual reason for it. So I actually want to show you here for a minute. I'm not just talking out my ass. Let's go look at my actual stats for Survivor.
Oh, he's gonna show us the stats.
Of all time,
too.
I mostly play Sable now. So my all-time escape rate for Sable is 47%,
God
which, given
damn.
I solo queue 95% of the time, seems about right. That seems like what you'd kind of expect, unless you're trying, you know, specific ratting streaks with Soul Survivor.
Yeah, that's pretty much the average, if not above average, for when it came down to the stats that Behavior released for the escape rates. 48% being for Swift and 40% being for solo queue for the escape rate. So having a 47% escape rate is quite high, quite high, considering the data that they release, that Swifts are escaping at 48% before the pallet density update. So if we're seeing like at least 50 or more, like that's kind of insane.
Survivor and things like that. 47% is about what I would expect for someone that just plays mostly solo queue and doesn't really care if he lives or dies at the end to save someone for a 1-for-1 and stuff like that. So that feels about right. However, let's look at the last 30 days for my Sable. Now we're looking at 63%.
God damn!
My escape rate has gone up by almost 15% in the past 30 days since the pallet density changes started. That's not a little blip. That's not like a little, maybe it's a couple percent difference because you did better in a few games. No, that is a massive fucking difference. That is a verifiably crazy difference in terms of actual escape rate. And like I said, I haven't really done anything different. I haven't gotten monumentally better. I'm not using a crazy new busted fancy build that no one knows about or something like that. It's just the game has simply gotten easier for me. So it's just a lot easier to act.
So can you imagine if Scott's escape rate is at 63% now? Can you imagine across the board? Can you imagine the escape rates overall with other players that main Survivor? Like I can probably take a wild guess, and we're gonna probably be seeing 60 or even, dare I say, 70%. And imagine Swifts. Imagine a Swift. Like, you're probably gonna start seeing 70%. Like, holy, yo, that's, bruh. I mean, it speaks for itself, honestly. I don't know what else to say to that. I think it speaks for itself. But those are my thoughts for the kind of data presented. I'll link the original video in the description so you can watch the rest on your own. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on a couple things within the video. And you guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But yeah. And if you want to become a member for exclusive content, perks, or other things like that, become a member on Patreon or become a YouTube member, and or consider subbing on Twitch to have your name read off at the end of every video. But with that being said, consider supporting the channel. We'll see you guys in the next one. Well, I wanted to go ahead and take some time out to thank all my members from Patreon with Crow King 101, my YouTube members, Majora Jeff, Endire, Evil Peachy YT, Zero Mocker, Christian, Hexdev, and Crow Vader, and for my Twitch subscribers, Cake is the Road, Danica2002, Final Girl _ Bunny, Acklefin, Chili Cinderace, Zero Mocker, Ginsburg, Johns117 _ Lovely Ghost TTV, Jar TTV, Zazaboo, and Crow Vader. Just wanted to thank you guys. And if you also want to have your name read off at the end of every video. Make sure you join on one of these platforms to get one of those perks, as well as the other perks you get. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.